thing that I hear when I talk about real estate, and you can let me know if you hear the same thing, and I'm sure you do, but everybody is expecting this massive amount of unemployment, and specifically the record amount of forbearances and rent moratoriums. They are all expecting that to just come onto the market and just crash it. And I think you're kind of expecting maybe the same thing.
So it's interesting. It's going to depend on, there's a lot of factors that have to do with that, obviously. I think most people, if you look at if somebody's in their home, they're going to hold on and they're going to do whatever they have to do. And so they're all going to trickle out based on what happens. And there's a lot of people that, believe that some of this forbearance is just going to be thrown on to the end of the loan. But that's a very small percentage, as and so there's a lot of mortgages out there that are non-government mortgages. And so while there's the forbearance is certainly in place right now, there's a lot of private lending, a lot of private money out there, kind of sitting back on the sidelines and trying to figure out what to do next. So I don't know if it's all going to come. But I do think, obviously Biden kicked everything down the road till June 30th, and so when I originally did that video, as that was prior to him even kicking it down the road to June. So, right. I was interesting, as I was with George Gammon last weekend up in Park City, and, we got into this big discussion as we all do when we get together, try to tap into everybody's resources. And George said, personal incomes were way up, during all of this, during this whole pandemic, personal incomes are way up. And you got to wonder why, like with all this unemployment and, all these businesses that are going out and people are going to part-time and all that kind of stuff, that's all been propped up by the government. And there's no doubt around that. And so when the new checks came out, and all those things happen, that's, believe it or not, as a landlord, that actually was good, because those people take that money, they pay their rent, but at some point you got to wonder, how long is the government going to be issuing these checks? And that's what I was trying to get at. So will it all hit in the fourth quarter? Probably not, but if they don't kick it down the road again, I would expect that these things are going to have to work themselves out.
Well, just like George, I spend a lot of time studying what the Fed is doing, the central banks and the Federal Reserve. And so it just seems to me, they passed their 900 billion, another 1.9 trillion is about to come through. I think there's another potentially 3 trillion they're negotiating about coming out with next. I just don't think that they've come this far to let it fall apart at this point. Yeah. In addition to that, if the stock market and the real estate markets were to crash, hard debt to GDP levels would skyrocket to a level that would probably wreck the country. And so they're kind of forced in a way. I just don't think they would let it go, but we don't know.